experts might be very. Oh, okay. Recording just started. Anyone who calls themselves an expert would have to really show up, like really show what they're made of. So, first of all, let me just share my screen. If I know how. Okay, let me start here. So I have segmented this class into parts, and I'm going to like show different aspects of it. For me, I use AI in like everything I do. If you are aware, most platforms now have some sort of AI. Airtable has Omni. Uh, Monday has its sidekick. I I don't think there's Zapier. In Zapier you can type a prompt into Copilot and it will build out your entire workflow. Then you just do your connections and that's it. But it can basically build out your entire workflow. So if as an automation specialist, consultant, expert, you are still focused on connecting one node to another, I would say you're already in trouble. So personally, when I get a client brief, first thing I do is take it to Claude. Claude is my favorite of the LLMs. And I put the brief in Claude and I chat with Claude about it. Some people draw out designs, um some people have their different process flows for planning. But for me, what I do is I chat with Claude. I ask it to ask me questions. I give it ideas of what I am trying to achieve and how I'm trying to achieve it, how I intend to get about the results that I need. So we do that whole back and forth until we can come up with a plan. Once I have like a solid plan, the next stage, of course, will be the build stage. Now, as I had earlier said, if you are still building 100% manually, then there are issues already. So let me quickly um, show you something basic. Um, Sorry, I have to stop and let me just share my whole screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? Yes, probably.
Yes.
Okay, here's Monday.com. Here's Monday.com. There's something I just saw this morning. You People who use Monday frequently will probably be like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. But I just saw it this morning. I'll be honest with you. So you want to create a board in Monday, and there's this, create a board with AI. So you can basically tell the AI what you want to build out, and it builds it for you. which to me is very cool. So let's see what it comes up with. For me, typically, why I say I just noticed this for the first time, this is not how I build in Monday. So as I mentioned, I go to Claude, I give it the client brief, I go back and forth with it, and okay, expected delivery dates, quantity, order dates, current status, in transit.
Papa, want to brush
Hi.
sugar.
In transit, delayed, delivered. This is decent. It even has an AI risk. So this is actually quite decent for an order board. For me personally, how I choose to build um, is after I discuss with Claude. Where's my Claude? So what I'm going to do, I have a client brief.
What are
It's
you
made up.
doing?
I have a client brief. Well, sorry, I need to get somebody to mute. I created a client brief for a baker who receives orders and bakes based on it. So let me just read out as to use as a case study. Blessing started baking celebration cakes from her kitchen in 2020. Word spread she hired two decorators, a delivery driver, a social media person. Revenue is growing, operations are chaos. Every order exists in a slightly different place, some in DMs, some in Notes app, one reportedly memorized. She has had two near misses on delivery dates and has no idea which customers are repeat buyers or how much they have spent in total. Blessing's current system is a Google Sheets. Column A, customer's name. Column B, what they want. Column C, a column called done. Values include yes, almost, and for one order from February, God help us. Nobody deletes that row. It has become a cautionary tale. So there's Blessing herself. The members of the team are Blessing herself, two decorators, one delivery driver, one social media person. The pain points, no real-time production visibility. Blessing cannot see at a glance what is being worked on, delivery dates, mix-ups, and all. So basically, this is the situation we want to build an order tracker for her, for Blessing to be able to track her orders, keep track of them, and not disappoint her customers while her business is growing. So I take this order, this to Claude, and I put it in. You can use your any LLM of your choice. You can use ChatGPT. You can use Gemini. I just have a thing for Claude, and we have always gotten along. So based on this, I ask it,
Can't hear him any longer.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just typing. Oh, okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see Claude?
Yes.
So this is just an example. It really depends on what's like the different factors. The questions I ask, what I ask for depends on the brief itself. And I send that out to Claude and it gives me a response. Now, based on the response, I can go back and forth with it. Once I have gotten like a a clear idea of what I should be building, it's it's just going to go on and I'd already done that the prompting for that. I tell it to output a GraphQL query, a GraphQL mutation. Um, GraphQL is like how you communicate with Monday.com's API. So I had already done that for this particular brief, and this was the mutation we came up with. So, wow.
Okay, sorry, is this on Claude or ChatGPT?
This Claude, I have broken up with ChatGPT. We're no longer
Okay,
in
so
a
it gives
relationship.
it gave you this graphical.
Yes,
Oh, nice.
Is this a paid version?
yes. I can't use the free version
Why
anymore.
did you break up, please?
With ChatGPT,
Uh-huh.
oh, ChatGPT, should I say it tends to give false answers? That's the simple truth. It tends to give false answers. Claude is not perfect. I've had times where it has misled me, but ChatGPT tends to do that way more than Claude does. That's on one hand. On another hand, you know what we do is low code and no code. I I lean more to the low code side than the no code side. I believe coding can be of massive, a massive advantage. I'll still show some of that in this class. So Claude has always been better at coding than ChatGPT. The code is cleaner, the code is like by far better. You don't have to iterate as many times. So that was one of my main considerations in moving to Claude. I used to pay for ChatGPT Pro. I stopped at some points and moved fully to Claude. Okay, so back to Monday. I have the GraphQL mutation. I've already created the board, basic board empty. Now I need to fill in all the columns. Typically, you start one by one. Okay, Joy, please
Sorry for
go ahead.
cutting you, please. I'm just curious. Is this a paid cloud?
Claude, yes, it is. The pro
Okay.
plan,
Please, hello, can
$20
I
a month.
join? Can I come so that I'll be part of your Claude community? I
I'm
beg, I
not
need.
in any community. I'm in a solo Claude, and let me put
Is
it like
it?
this. I
It's not a
finish.
joint account.
It's not a
Sorry,
joint account. On my
excuse
own,
me.
I reach the limits almost every day. So I can't bring
About that
anybody in.
community, sorry. I feel that from my experience, I once subscribed to Claude and I added one of my friend that same day and they blacklisted me. So don't join any Claude community. I've tried to reach out to their support forever, like over 6 months now. So just try and pay for it. And if you cannot pay, just be using the free tier. So I can't use my email to access any Claude account at the moment. I thought to check that in.
I Adenike, sorry to cut in. Do you give her a
Sophia, I can hear you.
Okay, I would say something about Claude and community. I started using the pro plan with a community. I think there were 4 or 5 of us using it. Why I left was we were always hitting the maximum usage. So within 3 or 4 days, we have hit because it's Claude's usage is weekly, it resets weekly. So within 3 or 4 days, we have hit the maximum usage for the week, and nobody can now do anything until the next week comes. Now, sometimes 2 days we have finished it. So to me, it just didn't make sense. I might as well pay the $20 and use it on my own. And the value it has given me, I can't quantify it. It's for me, it's worth way more than that, the $20 I pay. So that's me. Now, in Monday, typically we click the plus icon, add columns, add columns. What I typically do, I go to developer and go to this. This is the API playground. In the API playground, you can do such things like get the board schema, which is like a JSON file that has details of the board. So you can get all the column names, the types, the settings for the column, and all that from the board schema. It's very useful, and we'll look a bit more at that. So this is the GraphQL mutation. I've pasted it in. Oh, this is going to be stressful. Okay, well, let me do one better.
Sorry, please, can you repeat what you said you pasted in the developers API playground?
It's called a GraphQL mutation. GraphQL is how you communicate with Monday.com's API. It's a JSON-based communication format. So typically, there's always a bit of back and forth. It's not like, so I don't, you see, here I have to include the board ID in every line. That is too much work. So you can get, once you get the mutation, you put in the mutation. And
Sorry, hello. I think somebody's asking how you got the QL prompt or
the
something.
graph key.
Yes.
It's simple. Just tell it to. So when you have, that's what I was saying. When you have decided on what columns you want to create, so you have gone back and forth with Claude. You have you have designed the workspace, the board that you want to do, right? You then tell it to create a GraphQL mutation for this board, to create this board, and it will do this for you. Unfortunately, my mouse is not working right now, so I can't scroll to confirm that it has finished. But and you click on play. Any errors? Time range does not exist in column type. Did you mean? If there are any errors, I take the error back here. I didn't want to like do a perfect system, so you guys can actually see how the back and forth goes. Because some people will give you the impression that like AI is perfect and you just tell it once to do everything and it just does everything for you. In my personal experience, that is not true. You have to continue tweaking, continue, making modifications until you get what you want out of it. Um, Hold on, sorry,
Hold on,
please.
please. Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, so it has made the modifications. I come.
Please, is there a specific reason you're going through this route of JSON or whatever instead of creating the columns yourself? Is this a faster route?
It has finished running. Now I'll show you why I'm going through this route. That's it. That's exactly why I'm going through this route. It has created, I think, 18 different columns. And all
Okay,
I had
I
to do
see.
was that. Creating these columns alone would have probably taken you at least 30 to 40 minutes of manual labor. While with a bit of chatting back and forth, I have created the columns. It has done little things which, when you are working for clients, is very important. A column description. So it has given the column descriptions. It has done your board for you, named it, everything perfectly well without you lifting a finger. Or without you, well, you lifted a few fingers, but without you going through the manual work of creating the columns one by one. Now, this is how it works in Monday. You can do this. You can have, so if you are doing an entire workspace, you can have it create the mutations for each board and put them in like that. So now,
Please excuse.
yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, okay. Have you tried using CoWork for this?
I don't want to go there yet, but
Okay.
I will eventually touch on that. So this, let me put it like this. This is how you can do this for free. CoWork and other such tools are not free. You have to be on the pro plan to use CoWork. But this, you can do this in ChatGPT, you can do this in Gemini, you can do this in any LLM. It will generate the mutation for you, you paste it in, your board is created.
Can we use it for Airtable, Go High Level, ClickUp, Notion, other CRMs?
Okay. I'm not so sure of those ones. I know for a fact, Airtable, you can, well, the mutation, Airtable doesn't accept like mutations. And even if you try to paste JSON in to try and create your boards, it doesn't work perfectly. With Airtable, which is where we're going next, what I'll do instead is Airtable has Omni. Omni is Airtable's AI. Omni is extremely useful. So, for instance, I want to create an expanded workspace for this same client. And I've chatted back and forth, made decisions on what tables I want to create, what interfaces I want to create in Airtable, right? What I'll then do is take that data, tell it to create it in tables, as in create the tables with the descriptions, everything. And I copy the tables. So these are all the tables it's designed for this particular use case. I copy it, I go to Airtable, and I just paste it into Omni. And I say something like, I always use please to talk to my AIs. I don't know, when they take over the world, right? I want them to favor me. So
Okay, sorry. We are using the same blessings scenario, the
yes,
baking
still
scenario
baked by
for this thing.
Blessing. Yeah, so now this is a full workspace for her to manage her clients, to, check deliveries, manage her inventory and all that. That other one was just for order tracking. So as I mentioned earlier, you do your prompting back and forth and do your design via that means. So by the time you want to start building, you already have your tables, your structures, and co. Okay. Sorry, some people have their hands raised. Please ask your questions. Feel free
Oh,
to interrupt me at any time.
all
You don't
right.
need to raise your
Good.
hand.
Okay. Good morning. I wanted to. My
Okay.
question is still on the mutation. So,
Okay.
is the reason why I'm asking if I want to start using it? I don't really know the final format the mutation has to be in. Like for you now, you already know what you are looking at. What is the final stage for it to give you the the JSON that we produce out those necessary table. So if I'm iterating it on Claude, how do
Yeah.
I know, okay, Claude has given me what I'm looking for? And sorry, the second question is that did you prompt Claude to give you the mutation MQ? Was it MQ or QL you said?
GraphQL
Okay, QL. Did you
mutation.
prompt Claude to give you that JSON, or it
Exact.
automatically gives you with the build out process?
So, the thing about Claude these days, a lot of the time, you don't even ask it to do something and it does it. So, normally, you would, after you have done your design, as in gone over your design process, what columns you think it needs and everything like that, you now tell it, please give a GraphQL mutation to create this board to create this board. And it will now give you that full JSON. Now, as you saw, when I pasted it initially, it threw an error. I could already see, even before pasting it, that the board IDs were not there. So I knew it was going to throw an error. But when you put it in, you paste it in, if there's something wrong, the developer playground will throw an error, and all you need to do, copy that error, put it back in Claude. You don't even have to say anything. You don't just put it back. It will either tell you what is wrong or it will just fix what is wrong immediately.
Okay,
So it's just to follow the thing through step by step for you to get your final outputs. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yeah,
Good morning. Please, I wanted to
Feel free.
ask. Okay. I wanted to ask if you were done with Monday, because in trying to answer that person's question, you've started talking about ethics.
Airtable.
I,
Yes, that's basically all I wanted to show you in Monday. How to build quickly without too much stress. That's what I
okay.
wanted to show. Using the GraphQL mutation to just quickly drop a whole board, save yourself some 25, 30 minutes, and be able to continue with your work. Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's been so impactful so far. I like that you are trying to make things easier for each and every one of us. But then I'd like if you can, walk us through this process once more. I believe if this is the only thing I even take out from this class, it's going to be so much helpful because it saves time a lot. And from what you've said so far, after you've got, let's say, your description from the client, you go further to draft or a design of what you would want this to look like, which you can
Look
use
like.
with AI. Then after that, you go further to send it to, let's say, Claude to draft you a GraphQL. Then after
Yes.
the drafting, do you put it back to, let's say, money.com to see if it has the perfect thing that you want? How do you check if this is what you want for yourself, or how do you check if there's any mistake or anything. So just the process again could actually help us understand very much better. Thank you so much.
Yes, I
Okay.
agree with this. Thank you.
All right. Let me quickly do it over. So I have the brief from the clients. Where's the brief? So this is the case study. I copy it, put it in Claude. This is just an example of a prompt I'd use. Depending on the brief, it can be more complex. Typically, even before I ask it to give me a structure, I would go back and forth, talk about like what is um what's talk like what's the typical for such a business. I would ask it to do research on structures that exist. We'll do a lot of back and forth before I get it to the point where I tell it to give me a structure. I don't know why it's doing all this, but okay, this is the structure it is. It's giving, okay, and it's giving an example. So status, customer, delivery dates, baker, decorator, delivery, cake type. So that's the structure it is proposing. Oh, this is always such a pain. Okay, and these are the different groups that it's proposing. So I can then go, give me a GraphQL mutation to build this out in Monday. Okay, so first mutation it gave is to build the board itself. So you can create a board using a GraphQL mutation. So the one I did, I had already created the board to cut some time. Then this is the mutation to create the groups. So that's a separate mutation to create the groups. Then the third one is to create the columns. So you just copy and paste it in that order. First, you put the one for the board, you get the board ID. Then everywhere you see your board ID, you're supposed to input the board ID and do the one for the groups. Then finally, same thing here, you put your board ID for everywhere for each column and it will create the columns. And that's basically it.
Okay,
This
so you
one is
didn't put
now,
them all at once,
no,
right?
no, no. For the columns, I did all the columns at once.
Okay.
The things that you can't create
Is the
together,
is this JSON this is what I'm asking. Did you copy everything to put in the builder in the developer hub at once?
yes, for the columns. But I had
Okay.
already created the board, so I didn't need to do that again.
Okay.
So it was just the columns I did. If you don't want to manually fill in all these places where you have your board ID, when the board ID is generated, you can just bring it back here and say, this is the board ID. Please regenerate the mutation for the columns. And it would do it, put in the board ID everywhere. You copy that, go and paste it in the developer playground, and all your columns are filled in. This one is going further to even put a mutation for data. So if you have data that you want to fill in en masse, you can also take the data and bring it to Claude and tell it to create it as a JSON file, as in JSON mutation. Take that and paste it into the developer playground, and it will fill in all your it will fill in all your data in. Even though I would advise, if you have a lot of data, you are better off just importing it manually. Okay, so moving on.
Um,
Okay,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Are there like we've seen the pros to these fast build outs. Are there like cons, like the downside to it? Like things breaking or
No,
just like
this is perfectly like building by yourself. It's the same thing as you sitting down and doing one column by one column. The only thing with everything AI, please make sure you go over the outputs. So you are not, it's garbage in, garbage out at the end of the day. So you are not, as much as it's very good at what it does, sometimes it adds things, it removes things. Like recently, I was doing a code was like a specific length already. So I was adding to it and adding to it. Then all of a sudden, I noticed it was now shorter. So I told it, this code has lost maybe like 200 lines. Please go over it again and find out what went missing. And it came back with the output that, oh, sorry, it deleted part of the code at some point. So things like that happen. Those are the potential risks in using AI. So you have to be aware. At the end of this, I will explain more the merits and demerits of AI. But let's go ahead. So hopping over to Airtable, I had copied the tables that I want to build. So in the same way, I drafted these tables. And I have copied them. I head over to Omni. Please build the following tables. I paste it in. It's all jaga jaga. I press enter. And it starts thinking. Then after it's done thinking, it would ask me to confirm if what it should build, and then it will go ahead and build. Okay, so it's finished thinking.
Sorry, is this class being
Tables.
recorded?
I think so. Yes, it is. It's definitely being
Okay,
recorded.
please, because I want to go back to it. I'm in a very busy place.
Okay, no problem. I think it's still.
Yeah, and also, how would it be shared, like, so that everyone can have it?
Management will handle that. So I tell it to go ahead. Oh, it's already done it. Sorry, I wasn't looking.
Is this still Claude?
No, this is Airtable.
Oh. Thank you.
So just by cutting, so I had gotten Claude to design these tables already. So based on the brief, it had already designed the tables. 4 tables at orders, customers, and delivery slots and team. So as part of the design, it's specified the field name, the field type, and any notes that it had. So I just took all of that, dumped it in Airtables Omni and said, please build this. That's all. And it does it complete with table descriptions. Linked fields will be linked. Formula columns are filled in with the correct formulas. All of that's already done for you. Now with Omni, I will tell you I'll give a word of caution, be very careful. Omni, in its thinking, tends to add columns you didn't request for and remove columns that it thinks are unnecessary. Even though it would have shown you in the build plan, so you can correct it ahead of time. It will tell you it's going to do this columns, that columns, and all. Typically, the build plan, hold on. I need a proper mouse. Okay. Here's what you'll get. Okay. In this case, it didn't give you a proper build plan, but this is what it is. It has done it. It has created the tables. You have to go over it again just to make sure everything is as you want it. It didn't add any extras. It didn't remove anything. So order nodes, created at, last modified, done everything. Now, Omni can take it a step further. It can create your automations. The automations it creates, you always need to touch on all of them. Just make sure everything is in place. Please build the following automations. So with this, you can, okay, so in this case, it gave the build plan. So it tells you what to do, set up 6 native automations, delivery, blah, 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 blah. and build it, and it will build it. Now, things to note, it does not do scripting for you. So if your automation requires scripting, it's not going to do it. It will just leave out it will build everything else, but it will leave the script part empty. So you have to go write your script yourself and add it. And if you are using Airtable and you are not scripting, you are sitting on a long thing. You should be scripting if you are using Airtable. Airtable automations on their own are very strong, but scripting makes them a whole lot stronger. It allows you to communicate directly with other platforms. For instance, you can build Airtable automations that communicate with third-party applications without using Make or Zapier or N8N. It does everything for you. So both two ways. You can do that with Airtable scripts. You can do all sorts of crazy automations with Airtable scripts. So please, if you are not taking advantage of Airtable scripts, please start doing that now. Last of all, Omni can also create interfaces, both standard Airtable interfaces and custom Airtable interfaces. So it can code interfaces for you. So everything I've done here in the last maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes will probably take you, it's probably close to a day's work. Building each of the tables, building the automations, building the interfaces. It's probably close to a day's work. But here it is, done in the space of 15 minutes, and you're done with it. You can move on to other things. You can spend your time doing more productive things. So that's why I said at the beginning of the class, if you're still manually connecting node to node, designing things from the scratch, sitting down with paper and pen, deciding, should I use this type of column and all, you are already missing out on a lot. You need to be interacting, you need to be doing high level decisions. You need to be looking at like the overview of the whole system and making decisions based on that. Miriam, please go ahead with your question.
Okay, thank you very much for this exposure. I want to ask, is this applicable with ClickUp? Sorry.
I'm not a heavy ClickUp user. I have used light ClickUp, but my next stage, which I am going to now, I will tell you how AI can work in a lot of systems currently. A lot. Now,
Okay,
on
thank
to
you.
the next stage. Any other questions before I move?
Yes, please. I liked you mentioned scripting in Airtable. Can you
Yes.
briefly talk about how to go about that? At least how to start out or something?
Okay. As I just said, as an automation specialist, consultant, expert, whatever you are, your main duty is rapidly moving away from construction and going to more thinking, systems thinking. So in order to write a script, you have to understand where you're starting from and where you want to go, what you are trying to achieve, right? You have to have a clear picture in your mind of, okay, I want anytime, I'll give you a challenge a client threw at me. The client wanted to be able to, in Airtable, wanted to create sub items by pasting in data from an Excel sheet. They used to work in Monday.com, and Airtable doesn't have sub items, but they wanted to be able to create something like sub items by just dropping in data from an Excel sheet. And Airtable has no such functionality. So what I designed for them was, you create an item, then I created a long text field in Airtable where they could just open the long text field and paste in the data. Now, pasting in the data triggered an Airtable automation that runs a script. Now, what the script does is reads the data, checks, because each of the data points had like a number. So it checks for the number, checks how many numbers there are, and based on the number of items, it generates new records in a separate table, which is attached to the main table, which is linked to the main table as sub items. So the challenge there was thinking of how the thing would flow properly. Once you have a clear picture of how you want it to flow, you go back to Claude, you go back to ChatGPT, you go back to Gemini. In terms of coding, I'll rank Claude the highest, I'll rank Grok the second, I'll rank Gemini third, and I'll rank ChatGPT fourth. So for whoever needs that information, that is what it is. You go there and tell it you want to create an Airtable automation script. Please be specific, because Airtable has two scripting environments. It has the automation scripting environment and the extension environment. So always be specific. So you want to create an Airtable automation script, and you want it to do this, be very explicit, tell it exactly what you are trying to achieve. Then one thing I always do, I ask it to, before coding, this is exactly how I put it, before coding, ask me questions. So at that point, it asks you questions, and you can now give it more details of what it wants. You can clarify anything that's not clear to it, and then it will go ahead and write the script. Now, to be honest, I don't think, maybe once or twice, it wrote a script, and first time out, it ran perfectly. So most times that doesn't happen. Most times, the first time you try to run the script, you would have one error or the other. You need to be patient, go back, give it the error, and it will rectify the error. If it's that the script didn't do exactly what you want to do, then you have to explain further, okay, it did this, but this is not what I wanted, this is what I wanted. So that's basically how to go about scripting in an LLM. The scripting is much, much better these days. So your errors are fewer, it's faster, and you really get to enjoy it. So now moving on to part 2. In part 2, I want to explore model context protocols, better known as MCPs.
Hello, sorry. You mentioned two types of Airtable scripting. Can you go over it once more? Sorry, I want to just capture it down. Thank you.
So the two types are automation scripts, which run via an automation. So it's an action, it's an automation action. So typically some information will be passed from the trigger to the scripts, and it would carry out an action based on the trigger. That is Airtable automation scripting. Then we have extension scripting. So you go to Airtable extensions, then add an extension. Is it here? Scripts. So the Airtable, it's not automation based, it's not trigger based. It can be used for certain functions. So like, for instance, you want to deduplicate data once, not like on a continuous basis. You can write a script that will go through all the data in a table, look for duplicates, and remove the duplicates. It's better to do it with an extension script. Or you want to build some sort of interface where clients can access certain types of data, you can do it in an extension script. So those are the different use cases. And an automation script is something that you use regularly based on an automation trigger, while an extension script is more independent, and you can use it for certain actions that typically don't run regularly, or for something like an interface element.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay. So I was speaking about MCPs, Model Context Protocol. What this does is allow one app control another app. Now, for everybody asking if all this is possible in ClickUp, if it's possible in Asana, if it's possible in all other environments, the answer is almost yes. So here in Claude, I can go to connectors. You can see these are my own personal connectors: Airtable, Asana, Miro, Notion, Chrome. Those are my personal connectors. You can add a lot of additional connectors. You can add all this Gmail. I don't have these connected. GitHub, Gmail, Google Drive, Google Calendar, Make. Now, with an MCP, what you can do is directly from Claude, either Claude here or Claude Cowork. That's Claude Cowork. It's part of the Claude suite, actually. You can use it to directly access a program and carry out actions in that program. Now, for instance, this is Airtable's MCP. It's fairly new. Before there was a third-party MCP, which was unreliable, but Airtable themselves recently released their MCP for Claude. So these are the actions it can carry out. Get table schema, list bases, list records for table, list table for base, ping, search bases, create fields, create records, create tables, update fields, update records for tables, update tables. These are the actions it can carry out for now. They will probably expand with time. So unlike Omni that can create automations and create interfaces, for now, MCP in Claude can basically only create and modify tables and the data in tables. So from here, what it means is, in simple terms, I can sit down in my Claude and say, okay, well, these tables that we have designed, here is my base ID, creates these tables, and it will create all the tables for you. Right there, sitting in your Claude without ever going into Airtable itself. Let me show you.
Hello, good
Okay.
morning.
Hiya.
Yes, thank you so much for this. This is like an eye opener. I'm just getting to know all of this for the first time. Before now, I initially wanted to ask that question, but I saw that it's kindly different. Before now, creating boards on Monday.com, there is a feature on Monday.com that uses like when you want to create a board, it will tell you, do you want to create it manually or do you
Man,
want to
so you use
use
AI, yes.
AI? Yeah, so that's the one I've been using, but the one you introduced to us now, it's well explanatory and is so much better. So concerning this particular one, this NCP, I've thought of it several times, and the only thing I could put my hands on is just that I feel like I can only use it for my own project. Like I can't connect this cloud to a client's Airtable account or their project. So how can we do this? Do they need to also do at first, do we need to let them know, introduce it to them and let them have a cloud account? And they are so much big on privacy. They don't want their data to be distributed everywhere. So I think that's the issue I've had with this MCP.
Okay, so for me, what I personally do and what I advise, do not give data to AI generally. Try to avoid giving clients data, especially to um yeah, to AI generally. What you use it for and what I am um asking, or what I'm saying you should use it for, is to build structures. So connecting it to a client's account to build out the structure, I don't think it's a bad thing. Everybody has their opinion, everybody has their way of doing things, but personally, I don't see it as a bad thing. Once you have built the structure, you can disconnect it. See this big disconnect button, you can disconnect it, and so there's no access to data. You have just built an empty structure and that's it.
I agree.
Okay, but then you can tell the AI to use like sample data, right? So you know
Of
where and where
course,
you need to put which and which data from the clients.
of course. So like
All right.
where I work, I do a lot of demos. So when we're approaching a client, we do demos and all that. I don't start, I just tell it, generate the data, fill in the data. So here are the connectors that are currently available on Claude. This list gets longer every day. Every day, new ones get added. As I said, Airtable just added their official one. You can see somebody mentioned ClickUp. So let's see what's available on ClickUp. There are 35 tools available on ClickUp. So get task comments, create task comments, get workspace tasks, start time tracking, all sorts. Update document page. So these are all the things it can do in ClickUp. Almost anybody, any Monday. I haven't connected Monday because I haven't been using Monday of recent, but same goes for Monday.
Is Discord here?
Yeah, sorry,
Is Discord here?
let me check. No, so there's none yet, but probably come back in a month or so.
Oh wow.
Can you check
They'll
Slack? There should be
probably.
Slack.
Oh, Slack is there, nice and bold on the
It's
first
perfect.
page. HubSpot, most of the tools that we use on a daily basis, most of the tools, and even for the ones that are here, they keep on expanding their capacity, expanding their capabilities. Now, the ones that really impress me. So when I say
Please.
connecting things manually, see, anything. Make. Where's Make? I'm sure it's here. Make. Zapier. They're all here. So those workflows that you are sitting down for
So is
hours.
this cloud connector or what? Which this thing is it
It's
is
still Claude.
it
Please, how
okay
did you
on the
get here?
connector section?
Help us.
Chat.
Please, is this Claude
So
Code that they've been talking about?
no. This is Claude. This is regular Claude. This is
But how
Claude
did you get
code.
to this place? Okay.
I'll show you. This is Claude code, and this is Claude Cowork. They are separate, but they are all basically like branches of the main Claude.
So is it
So to get
available in the free version?
no,
Mhm.
no,
Hello.
I will advise anybody and
Or spend
everybody 20, it is 20, is it 20 or $25? $20 or $25 well spent.
$20.
It is very well spent. Believe me, there are very few things that you can spend money on that will give you as much value doing what we do.
Hello.
Yes,
You mentioned you use the Pro plan, right?
yes,
So I'm surprised why you're not using co-work because I believe you should be able to access the co-work with the Pro plan.
yes, you can. I use Cowork.
Okay, okay.
Let him show us this one first though. Afterwards, go work.
So if you want to connect, you just open the connector and manage connectors. Then click on the plus, browse connectors. So here you can see all the various connectors that you want to gain access to. So as a small example, I want to use um, it's to generate a Miro board. Miro is a visual tool that you can use to build out systems. It's very good for collaborating. So where I work, we use it when we have a project with a client. We use it to plan alongside the client or like explain things to clients and all that. So here it is. It's just like a blank canvas to start with. It has its own internal AI, which I will say is also very good. So for instance, if I want to use the MCP, I copy the address and I go to Claude. I say, I want to create a Miro board showing a potential Airtable framework for this client's project. Please use Miro's MCP to do this. Here is the link to the board. And I sit back and do absolutely nothing. So earlier with Monday Airtable, I was showing you how to do it, copying and pasting. And that why I was showing that was to be able so you can still know that you can still do it on your free LLM plans. ChatGPT also has MCP, so does Gemini. So all this is also possible on them, whichever your preference or your tool preference is. So this is also possible and you can still do it. I switch over to Miro and here. Oh, oops, I can't zoom out because my mouse is bad. But hold on. So it has built an Airtable schema for the client with a client brief. So if I need to like make presentation to the clients on what we're building and all that, can just do this. And this is ready within seconds. I'm ready to present to the clients. A client seeing this will take you extremely seriously. So, like for instance, a use case for this, imagine you bid for an Upwork job and you're called for an interview and you present this to the client. Fine. Having a full-on demo with, with a Loom video or something would be even more impressive. But you come with this complete. Which client won't be impressed? And it didn't take you hours to make. It took you probably 15, 20 minutes, plus the chatting on the design and all that, plus the creation of this. And you did it without stress. And via the MCP, something you can do, you can make updates. So for instance, let me think of something. I want to add an additional board to track the client's suppliers. And if we switch over, sorry, I don't know how to zoom. I don't know how to zoom without a mouse. Oh, as I say, hard mouse is better than none.
You can click on the plus and minus sign at the bottom.
Where? Oh, okay, at the bottom. I've never had to use it, forgive me. So it even made, okay, it did a full suppliers board. So it created, so not exactly, but
What's the name of this app again?
you
Sorry.
can, sorry?
What's the
Miro.
name of
That's
you
it
said?
today. The name of the app is Miro.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So you can give a client a wonderful view of what you are planning for them. And since it's very visual, it's like helps them think. So that's another use case for AI. As I've mentioned, you can also use it to build out your Monday boards. You can use it to build out your Airtable tables, all from the comforts of your LLM. I think I have taken a lot of time.
Sorry. Hello. Sorry.
Yes.
So when during this building you used Claude all through, and it's when you connect the app that you use. Is it when you connect those app in this Claude? Because I'm trying
Yes.
to understand how it
So
is
MC,
automatically integrates into the CROMs and creates those boards.
okay.
See,
I'll show you an example. So I can, for instance, I want to add my Gmail account and go to connect. It will give me the option to sign in. So you see, tells me, okay, if you can authorize, then I have to authorize it. So once I authorize it, it is connected. And okay, let me connect it to my personal account. It's connected. And once it's connected, then I can just give it direct instructions. So from
okay, so
here,
once
I
it's
can,
connected, you can
now that,
start prompting.
yes, so now that I've connected my, in my Gmail, I can sit in Claude and say, please find all mails related to so, 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 and so. I really don't want to connect my mails because they are,
But is this
but
what
I
they
can,
call the MCP that they're talking about?
yes, the Model Context Protocol, yes. It
Okay.
allows apps, allows apps to control other apps. And it's like the basis of AI agents. Because basically that's what an agent does. An agent, you give it tools or apps to use, and then by itself, independently, it can carry out actions using those tools. So the MCP is the basis of AI agents. So like if I connected my mail, I could just from Claude say, okay, give me all the mails in so category, or I can search my box, I can respond to mails from Claude, that sort of thing.
Please, talking about this MCP, I have a task before me, and let me just bring it here and maybe just tell me an overview of how to achieve it. So I'm asked to, the person mentioned the MCP. The goal is that on our Discord, now that there's no Discord here, let me just say Slack channel. There's going to be a channel that every employee can check the HR details. So if they want to ask questions, HR related questions, they can just go to that channel and ask. How can MCP be of help? Like, how can I connect stuff to achieve this?
Okay, so it's a Slack channel that you want to be able to answer questions.
Exactly. Related questions. Probably connect a Google Doc and
Exactly what I was going to say. That means you would have a bot of some kind that's connected to a database of some kind. So basically, based on the questions, it can go search the database for information and give an answer based on the information. So that will be some sort of agents that you would have, and with an agent, it can do more than just giving information. It can also carry out actions.
Got you.
So
Thank
maybe
you.
you'll be able to tell it something like, please submit a leave request, and it will process it and submit the leave request on your behalf from the chatbot.
Okay, that means it's not just building a RAG agent for it.
Yeah, yes.
So you have to make
Okay.
it interactive with, like, I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, as in it should be able to carry out, it can, if an MCPT backed AI chatbot, because that's essentially what the front end for something like that would be able to carry out actions, not just give information. And it will be able to carry out, what I like to call unstructured actions, unlike a regular AI powered automation where all actions are structured. So you have just like different routes. Okay, if this person asks for this, do this. In this case, it can carry out like sort of independent actions. Anyway, but I don't want to go into AI agents today. That's a whole different kettle of fish. Okay, so I should be rounding up. Okay, I quickly want to touch on something, a project that I've been working on recently, where so I
Please, I have
mentioned,
a question. No, please. Okay, the other
shoot.
time you showed how you built a demo for a client. You used
Yes,
I think you used Cowork, right? Or your normal cloud.
normal Claude.
Okay, with the connection tool, right? With the MCP or what do you call it? So,
Yes,
okay. I noticed that it was I think Mirror or so.
yes, Miro.
can you do that with other tools as well? Like maybe
Yes.
Monday.com or Airtable?
Yes, I mentioned. That's why I was showing you the Airtable, the options in the Airtable connection. Yes, you
Okay.
can build out tools, you can build out things using that.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So I want to briefly touch on a project I'm carrying out right now. So the company I work for are moving their operations, our own internal operations from Monday to Asana. So we have been using Monday for years. And of course, in that time, we have spun up over 1,000 boards. Now, if you are told, you as an automation consultant, you are brought in for a project like that, I would like to hear from you. How would you do it? You have to move 1,000 boards worth of data from one system to another. Systems that are not directly related. And by that, I mean, for instance, Monday has about 25 different column types. Asana doesn't have as many. So there are column types that don't match across. For instance, Monday has a timeline column, which is basically a start date and end date. Asana doesn't have it. Monday has button columns. Asana doesn't have. Monday has a checkbox column. Asana doesn't have. How do you move such large volumes of data? You are brought in as an automation consultant. The client wants such things to be automated from beginning to end. How do you do it? Can anybody give an answer?
Sorry, before we start answering, first of all, why are you moving to Asana?
Well, in this particular case, we're gold partners for Asana. So, as part of their partnership agreement.
Okay.
But it can be for any other reason. I'm just using Monday and Asana for example. It can be from Airtable to Monday. It might be cost based. It might be they are not finding full utilization of features. Sometimes it might be something as simple as the client doesn't like this company. They don't like the company as a company, so they want to move their systems. So
Okay.
please, anybody, as an automation consultant, how would you handle this?
So I'm not a consultant yet, but let me just let me just
Give
give
it a
it
shot.
let me just give it a try. So I think as a person, I'm going to more like a start to study their Monday.com CRM, and then also create documentations on their processes, and also try to also relate some of their processes and how we can merge it in Asana. So let's take, for instance, now you have to check the things, the fields that they have, and also the fields that Asana have. And it's more like going to be a kind of restructure. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to be doing that with AI, obviously not with my head. And I will have AI help me to I'll give you the information it needs to get to know well about the Monday.com CRM, and then go further to tell it I want to use Asana we now want to use Asana for our CRM as a company. Give me insights. How do we go about it? Since you have the detailed information of what this CRM is going to, the CRM that we have is going to is already doing. How do we match that with Asana? Then another option I can use, obviously, I like Swift Life, is using CoWalk to go through what is on Monday.com. And then from there, I also get information on how I'm going to go about having to move the things that we have on Monday.com to Asana. And there I can now start building it out after I must have understood how to merge and go about the whole system restructuring.
Okay, that's a good answer. But in this particular case, the challenge was the number of boards, not even the data as much as the number of boards. So you have 1,000 boards. Each board, of course, has a separate structure. So
Okay.
you have to now reconstruct those boards in Asana. Now, can you
Okay.
imagine if you decide to do it with Make, with Zapier? That means, first of all, you'd go create that board in Asana, create a Make scenario or a Zapier workflow, and then connect those two boards and move the data across, right? That's the approach most people will take.
Okay.
But when you are faced with doing this in 1,000 places, the idea of doing it can kill somebody. Now, this is where I would say no low code is better than no code. Programmatically, doing it, what your aim would be to do will be scan the boards, create the Asana equivalent in Monday, already giving it an idea of how to restructure the columns that do not carry across. So like the timeline column, for instance, the best way to handle that will be to split it into a start date column and an end date column. So you have 2 date columns representing your timeline column. Then the last step will now be to move the data and verify that the data moved correctly. Trying to connect those boards, create and connect boards one by one, is a disaster waiting to happen. So for this particular project, what I had to do, I sat down with Claude over weeks and weeks and wrote code, Python scripts that scans Monday. It's not scans per se. Okay, so I said I will get to this, and now I'm at this point. Let me quickly get into Monday. So another thing you can do in the developer playground is to get a board schema. Now, a board schema is the board. So this is a GraphQL mutation that gets a board schema. It is the board described as a JSON file. So that's the board ID, the board name, and these are the fields in the board. So ID, the ID of the field, the title, the type, on and on and on like that. So it gets all the information for all the columns, all the groups. So in this case, the Python script runs, gets all this information, translates it into a way that can work for Asana, creates the boards in Asana, then moves the data. It's by far more efficient than doing it in person. And where AI comes in here is writing those scripts. So what I did, my main work was sitting down, describing what I was trying to achieve over and over again. I had to read the Asana API documentation, feed it the whole Asana API documentation, feed it the whole Monday API documentation. So we were able to draw out an assignment map between both apps and successfully build an app that moves the data from one point to the other. That is the only way I was able to achieve moving data in that volume. Now I want to show practically, so it's not all talk. I put together an interface for the app because initially it was just command line. So using Claude Code, I haven't really shown you Claude Code, but Claude Code is like regular Claude, but specifically built for coding projects. So using Claude Code, I was able to do the coding and the interface. I try not to use Claude Code too much. Same with Claude Cowork, because they consume more credits or more of my usage than regular Claude. So as much as possible, I try to stick to very, very powerful tools. So using that data, I was able to create this. Now, this is the sample board order tracker. I am going to attempt, I might not succeed, to move this board as it stands to Asana and show you how it comes out. I filled in all the data, the Monday API code, Asana API code, Asana workspace ID, Asana team, the Monday workspace ID, and the board ID. I filled in all that data. And now just to show you, I'm going to run.
Sorry, how are you
So
able
it's
to get
actually
them?
sorry?
How are you able to get the API token and all of that?
So for Monday, you get the API token from the developer playground. The app is running. It's when it's done, I'll show you. So you get the token. This is where you get your API token from the developer playground. That's where you copy your token from. You just copy it. In Asana, you have to like create an app and you can get your token there. Then in Asana also, you get to see, let me open Asana. I have to open Asana anyway. On So you get to see, what's the name? Order tracker. Okay. So here it is. So it's created the groups. It's created in Asana, they're called projects, not boards. So it's created the project. It's created the sections. And let's see if it's still running. Yeah. So, sorry. So it's still running.
Sorry to
It's
cut you
creating
short,
the
Sam.
fields.
What is this
Yes, yes.
blank, this other outer surface on your screen? in front of the Monday
Sorry?
board or the Asana. What is this outer surface screen
This
black?
is the app I created.
Okay, you created an app. Okay.
Yes. So this app is moving the data from Asana, from Monday to Asana, and see it has arrived. So basically, what we have in Monday here, same groups, same columns, same data, item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has created it and built this whole app. I have taken courses on I've taken courses on Python, but I won't lie to you, I don't know jack about coding. In this case, it has created it and successfully moved that board over here.
Please, can we see the
What
board?
would
Please, can you just give a summary of the whole thing? Sorry about that.
so what, as I mentioned, I need 1,000 boards from one app from Monday to Asana. The only way using classic automation would have been to manually build the boards in Asana, use something like Make or n8n to connect both boards, then use that to move the data across. For one board, for two boards, that's okay. You have 1,000 boards that you have to move in a limited space of time. That cannot work. So I went to AI, to Claude, and we came up with a code. We did a Python script, actually many Python scripts combined together to transform the data because columns don't exactly match. So you can see this order timeline, right? There is no timeline equivalent in Asana. So what we did, we match the columns that match, and for the ones that don't match, we find ways of managing them. So in this case, instead of doing the order timeline, we did order timeline start, order timeline end, two separate date columns to carry that same information from Monday. There are many others like that that we had to modify between both apps. So after designing and doing all that, I had it do a front end. So instead of having to go to the command prompt to enter the information and all that, I had it build a front end where I can, because this is still the command prompt, where I can easily enter the data, my API keys, the IDs for the workspaces I'm moving, and I just click run full migration and it moves the data across. It builds the table in Asana, the project in Asana, complete with all the data, all the sections, all the columns. It moves everything. And it builds everything without me lifting a finger. Once I have typed in the details of the board that it's supposed to move, I don't touch it until it finishes. That is what you can achieve using AI in automation. So, like, the possibilities are endless. even right now, personally, I feel I'm behind the times because go to YouTube, you see people doing all sorts of crazy things with AI in the automation space. I'm not even talking about outside the automation space. In the automation space, go and read up on tool or watch videos on tools like OpenClaw, even Claude Code, Claude Cowork, the things that you can do with them. As I mentioned, I don't use them as much because they are expensive. Honestly, my $20 a month will not be sufficient to run those things on a regular basis as how I use it for, as in with the volume I use for regular Claude. My $20 a month won't be. I would have to switch to at least the $100 plan, and I don't get that kind of money. So that is just some ways you can use it. Last of all, what I want to showcase is another thing that would make life so convenient. So for most projects that we carry out, you have to, at the end of it, you have built, the customer is happy. The customer now wants documentation. And you're like, how am I going to do all this? You now have to start writing, typing for months, weeks on end. Or, for instance, the customer says, I want you to train me to use this system. It can be exhausting to create that documentation. I recently had a project. It wasn't even my project. My colleague had built out the whole system, but I was now supposed to train the users on the system. This is a 44 board Airtable project with advanced automations, crazy scripts. I didn't know where to start. Even me, um I didn't know the project that well. And to be able to train somebody, you have to be confident of your knowledge. You have to know the project very well to be able to train somebody effectively. So what I did, I exported the board schema, the schema of all the boards. So for instance, I generate the schema of all the boards. Take the schema, dump it in Claude. I go to, since this was an Airtable project, I go to, okay, let me practically show you that. Please get the schema for this Airtable base via MCP. So sometimes it would. Now, in case you don't know what a schema is just a breakdown of the table, the structure of your base, of your table. It just shows the structure, the name of the column, the different settings, the ID, and all that. So it would show the connections and all that. And now based on this, you can, what I like to do, I take a few screenshots of important things, interfaces. If I want to show off the automation page, take a few screenshots of that, throw it all into Claude, and I say, this didn't even give another way to get, in case you don't have access to MCP. For Airtable, you can go to this site, the Airtable Developers Web API. You need to enter your API key. Don't worry, it's safe. It's part of Airtable directly. So when this loads, you can get the you can get the schema, the full schema described for your base. You can just copy and paste it into Claude. So I'm telling you that the free parts against the unfree parts. You can take that, paste it into Claude. You have all the base schema there. You can take screenshots of automations, interfaces, put it in, and just give it a simple prompt. Please create training materials for this group of people. So let me scroll down to look for. So there's the Bake by Blessing base. So this is in it. Now, if you check on the side, you'll see the tables, the various tables. So these are the various tables. This is the schema: field name, field ID, type, description. So this is all the information you need. It shows links, relationships, all that. This is also very, very, very useful when you are writing a script in Airtable. So, like before I write a script, I copy this, I give it to it because it has the field IDs and all. So it gives, it's like taking the AI and walking it through your base. It's like showing it everything. Okay, oh, this is table one, this is table two, this is the information in it. So it has a full picture of your base. With that, you can use it to generate documentation, training materials, simple prompts. It would ask you for additional information, probably. And very easily, as much as possible, it's going straight to creating it. So, but as much as possible, try to give it all the data you have on it, and if which would improve the quality of the training material it generates. Like for that example I was giving of the client base with 44 tables, it came up with a 48-page training guide that had pictures because I had taken screenshots and given it. So it used the screenshots that I gave to generate pictures, very detailed, because it was for the technical team. It was for their technical team, not even for the users. So it gave very, very detailed descriptions of everything. Even when they got it, they were impressed that you went into so much detail. Yes, it took me a while to be able to give all the information that was required, but the efforts relative to the results totally different levels. So this will go on, this will generate slides for this conceptual project, and basically that's what I giving you today. I hope I have been able to convince you and not confuse you to use AI better, to make your work more efficient, to do less and gain more, and to, above all, to like position your mindset for a future view, a view of how work should be done and how work will be done going forward. Because as I said, things are evolving. I believe like all these things, Claude Cowork, Claude Code, before the end of this year, would probably be almost irrelevant because the technology would have moved past them. There was an aspect of this whole thing, I haven't fully developed it, but I'm still testing it. As part of this script, the script I mentioned for moving data from Monday to Asana, because Asana's formula columns are very basic. They can only do simple calculations. Online, we move the calculation, the formula fields directly. So what I came up with was the script accesses, makes API, and creates automations for handling formula fields. So I don't have to do anything. It creates the automations by itself. So I don't know. I'm just saying, if you are not using AI actively, you are going to go the way of the dinosaurs. Thank you very much. Any questions? Anything you'd like to know?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. Oh God, I don't know, very impactful and insightful class. I really appreciate you, Elo. Just a favor, I'd like to connect with you. I don't know. I've sent you a connection request on LinkedIn. I don't know if you're going to see that. My name is Mary Rose. Thank you so much.
Feel free, feel free. I'll drop my number in the chat if anybody wants to reach out. Feel free.
All right, thank you so much.
Very much.
Hello. I don't know what, actually, I'm short of word. I don't know what to say at all because I got more than my expectations. Like, it didn't just teach us how to, get results, but how to work with speed. Even though I'm yet to comprehend most of the things you said, but you did a lot. It's just a whole lot, but I'm going to take my time, go over the video again. But really, I appreciate all that you have done. Share. This is just like, what do you call this? A kind of a cheat code, or what do I call this? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for this. Yeah. As you said, this is actually like a really big cheat code. When you are doing certain things a certain way and you don't know how others have been doing it, like you just opened our eyes to a whole new area of this AI thing. And thank you. We can see that you didn't hold anything back. We are grateful for sharing. Like, this is an amazing. I'm really excited about this. In as much as I can't comprehend everything you just taught us, but I know at least that's opened our eyes to see that there are areas we need to look into. This thing can be done this way. That's eye opener. That is one fantastic thing. Thank you so much, Elu.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
It's amazing.
All right, everyone. Even me, have been glued to my seat, listening keenly to everything that was shared here. And I must say, and you did a fantastic job, Elo. Thank you for not gatekeeping. And I'm sure every one of you here right now got value for your time. So
No problem.
thank you so much, Elo. Sincerely, you did amazingly well, I must say. You did amazingly well. And if anyone has questions to ask, I bet nobody has any more questions because I think everyone is satisfied. So the recording will be made available. Always check the expert session for your cohort. If you're in cohort A, B, C, there is a folder in that Google Drive that is tagged expert session. So in there, I will share recordings from expert sections and from our alumni, just like this one. So you can always check it. If once the video is ready, we upload it. And sometimes we may get too busy and forget, but still, if you send a reminder, we'll still upload it so you can rewatch and learn from it. So are we waiting for this to be generated, Elo, or should we
I
continue?
I don't know. It's misbehaving.
Do you guys
Actually, to
do
be
you guys want
honest,
to wait?
to be honest,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done slide. I should have done just a document because the slide
Will
thing
take a
has
lot
been
of time.
misbehaving since morning. It's
Hmm.
been misbehaving since morning. I wanted to generate slides for this whole presentation, but I was unable to for that reason. So yeah, it's been misbehaving.
Okay. Still, I think everyone here got value. Even me, I sat my ass down and I actually just created. I've been procrastinating on Claude, but while you were taking us to Claude, I just created my account and I did something I'd never done before. And I was like, what have I been waiting for all this while? So thank you very much for that.
Ah,
Thank you very much, Elo. And
right. You're welcome.
thank you
Thank
all
you
for
all
coming.
for hanging around, listening,
Hello, please, can you
and
pronounce
listening
your
to
name
my
in
TED
full?
talk.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me? Okay, please pronounce your name in full.
Hello, Omoluabi.
Hello, hello,
Um,
hello, re for the Yoruba people. Hello, Omoluabi.
Okay, you are Yoruba.
No, I'm Edo, but where I'm from is
Okay,
on the border with Ondo State, but
because your name sounds like a Delta
Yoruba,
name. Your
lower,
first
our
name,
local
the Elo
language.
sounds like a Delta name. Delta Edo.
Yeah, typically, yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much.
Okay, so that you
All
wouldn't
right.
sleep here. Thank you so much, Elo. At least now I can pronounce it well for sparing us your over 2 hours. Actually, we spent about 2 hours and 14 minutes and counting in this place. So thank you very much for your time. Personally, I appreciate it. On behalf of Witty Automations Academy, I appreciate it. And on behalf of everyone here, we also appreciate your time. Hopefully, perhaps sometime in the future, we get to invite you again to I said sometime in the future, we'll get to invite you again to share from your expertise. No, when I was introducing you, I said he has built systems for clients across different locations. And you said, hey, no, just something. Now you can see everyone here on this call can agree with me that the introduction was not flattery. It was actually a simple statement of fact. So thank you very much, Ella, for coming and everyone. So the session has come to an end. And again, by the end of next month, we're going to have someone else come join us, God's willing. And also, it promises to be very educative. So, thank you all for coming and have a wonderful weekend. Bye, everyone,
Bye for now.
for now.